Hello my witchy friends, welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Sophie, I'm the Midwest Magician, and today we're doing a book review of Ambrosia's book of Witchflight. So if you're someone who is a fan of astral travel or riding the hedge, or if you are curious about these topics, this book might be for you. So first I'm going to read you the description on the back of the book. Ambrosia's Book of Witchflight is a work of personal gnosis. Within the book you will find tips and tricks for traveling to other worlds via witchflight. Jasmyne shares her very real experiences, allowing you to see the other world from her eyes. This book was created between worlds and brings an essence of liminality to the work. You will also find a multitude of resources in this book, including recipes, rituals, prayers, and the ever-impressive Liber Spiritus. Jasmyne is a dedicated and passionate witch, educator, high priestess, business owner, and content creator. She creates occult-related content centered around witchcraft and the left-hand path, and leads the Solar Court Coven as the high priestess. So Jasmyne does give us a lot of background on herself within that book description, but as I just read, she is a witch here on YouTube as well. That's how I met her, and I will have her channel linked in the description box down below along with this book as well. Jasmyne is a traditional witch, and she is also a fellow Midwesterner, so hello neighbor. So as a disclaimer, Jasmyne did send me this book. She sent a PDF version for me to read, and she asked if I would give an honest review, so that's what I'm here to do today. This book really piqued my interest, not only because it is self-published, which is a huge feat in and of itself, but it's written on a topic that I don't personally have a lot of experience with. I was personally really excited to kind of read and explore more on this topic through the eyes of someone who has firsthand experience. So right off the bat, before purchasing this book, I want to make it abundantly clear that this is Jasmyne Ambrosia's personal gnosis. If you're unfamiliar with the terminology personal gnosis, basically it is her personal experience with astral travel or witchflight. This book is 23 chapters and also includes a ritual, invocation, recipes, and prayers. We start this book out getting an introduction to witchflight with Jasmyne as our guide. She lets us know how she got started with her flights, who she met in the other world, and how the connections that she made while on her flights reached from beyond the veil to help her in her everyday life, specifically with writing her book and with her coven work. I personally really appreciated that Jasmyne emphasized just how much witchflight is a practice. And if it doesn't come easily, that's okay. It's just something that does take a lot of time, effort, and patience. In the book, Jasmyne goes over different concepts such as fetches, mirror jumping, and virtues. And we get the first glimpse at how the other world and our physical realm have connected for Jasmyne with a unbelievable and gut-wrenching story. We are given a tour of the other world, starting in the Hallowed Woods and making our way across the 4 different kingdoms. My personal favorite part of the book is the Spirit Codex, which gives us a look at the different spirits that Jasmyne has encountered on her flights. Shout out to Whoopsie Daisy and Oopsie Daisy. They were my favorite ones. Now, I don't want to give away too much of the book, so I'm going to move along to the writing style. Jasmyne's writing style is very much how I would imagine talking to her in person is. I personally like that kind of writing style as I feel like it guides me along the pages. However, if you're someone that kind of enjoys a more formal style of writing, that is something to take note of. But as I mentioned, since this is a work of personal gnosis, including Jasmyne's personal experiences, journal entries, and stories, I think this writing style is really the only type that makes sense for a work like this. The pacing of this book worked out well for me. The chapters are shorter in length and broken down into smaller paragraphs, which made it a lot more digestible of a read. I don't know about you, but when I'm reading a book and it's a full wall of text, sometimes my eyes jump around and it makes it a little bit hard to keep track of where I'm at on the page. However, I do want to note again that I received a PDF version, so I'm not exactly sure what the physical book looks like. I also appreciate that Jasmyne doesn't drag out topics just to fill a page. She really allows the reader to be independently intelligent and doesn't over-explain what she's talking about. Now, my full opinion on the book, here's what I liked. The first thing I really liked is how this book was self-published. I don't know the process of self-publishing, but I know that it is a lot of dedication and hard work. So for this to be a book already of personal gnosis, which is deeply personal and something so special to share, and then taking the extra step to do all of the publishing work yourself, is something that I really appreciated about this book. I also really like that this book isn't like anything that I've ever read before. In the witchcraft realm of books, there aren't many that come to my mind that are works of personal gnosis. I think that it's a need in the community that Jasmyne has had the courage to fill. And it's something that I'd love to see from more authors. As I said, I'm not personally familiar with journeying or witchflight. Astral projection isn't something that comes easily to me. So I found reading her experiences to be very interesting and captivating. The Spirit Codex was really fun to look through, and overall I think was a great addition to the book. So overall, this book did give me a lot of inspiration to work towards incorporating witchflight into my own practice. And again, it will take a lot of practice, but I think this book and reading about someone's personal experience with these journeys is something that I can continue to look to for inspiration. I don't necessarily have dislikes for the book. I wish I could have gotten a little bit more about the Four Kingdoms, but as I mentioned earlier, Jasmyne's writing style is not one to over-explain things, and I think that it's a good starting point for me to practice getting myself to the Hallowed Woods so that I can personally explore these kingdoms myself. The only other thing that I did want to mention as far as things to kind of look out for is that Jasmyne does include a recipe that calls for a toxic flower. And I do want to say Jasmyne does mention that this is toxic and urges the readers to use caution or omit it entirely if it's not something you're comfortable working with, but I would be remiss if I did not mention it myself. So who should read this book? If you're someone that's interested in astral travel, or if you're somebody who is already familiar with journeying, I do think this book is something you might enjoy. I personally found it very interesting as someone who has, again, very little experience with this topic. I think you also might find this book very interesting if you're someone who likes hearing other witches' personal experiences, even if you're not personally inclined to go on witch flights yourself. I don't really have any other books that this could compare to, since it really is an original work. So my final thoughts about Ambrosia's Book of Witchflight is that I overall found this to be a very interesting book. I learned a lot about a topic that I really didn't have a lot of exposure to in my own personal practice, and the writing style really felt like I was chatting about this over coffee with a friend. With practice, and if I'm able to finally get myself to the Hallowed Woods, I know this will be a resource that I continuously refer to again and again. Have you read Ambrosia's Book of Witchflight? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you again to Jasmyne for sending me your book. If you made it to the end of the video, can you leave a little book emoji? I love to see who watches all the way to the end. And let me know, are you interested in witchflight and astral projection and journeying? It's something that I've always really wanted to try out, but for whatever reason, I've never been able to make it out of my body. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you liked this book review and want to see more, please leave a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please click the subscribe button right down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.